Section 2, we're going to talk about linear equations. Now, linear equations are an equation that has no operations, that's plus, minus, multiple, divide, powers, parentheses, other than addition, subtraction, multiplication of a variable by a constant. Then I talk about a linear function, functions whose ordered pairs satisfy a linear equation. Any linear function can be written in the form f of x equals mx plus b, where m and b are real numbers. So these are pretty similar. This f of x thing is just a way that we are going to still say y. This is function notation. We're still talking about outputs. What comes out? What are our range values? Now we need to determine if something is a linear function and the base word of linear is line. When I see g of x equals 2x minus 5, does that meet this pattern right here? So if I write it underneath, f of x equal to mx plus b. Well, negative can always be rewritten as plus or minus. I have a constant. I have something multiplied to my x. So yes, that meets the formula. In b, p of x equals x cubed plus 2. I can't have powers. So this is not a linear function. Anything with powers is not going to form a line. At first glance, t of x here looks like it might be backwards. But remember, I can write 7x plus 4, and I haven't changed my problem. And so, yes, this is a linear function. I just need the order of the addition, which doesn't change the problem. Our standard form of a line. Another way, we are used to y equals mx plus b, which is the slope-intercept form. Standard form is another form. And any linear equation can be written in standard form. And here is your standard form. ax plus by. Basically, your x and your y on one side. A, b, and c are integers, whose greatest common factor is 1. About that. Here's the other part. A has to be positive. This right here has to be positive. You may have to multiply everything by negative 1, but that's not a huge deal. And A and B both can't be 0. Because think about it. If A and B were both 0, I'd end up with 0 equals some number. And that's very interesting. I could end up with 0 equals 7, and that can never happen. So it can't both be 0. So to write an equation in standard form, you basically have to move the variables to the same side, the constants to the other. So I need to move 3x. Just use my algebra skills, and I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. I'm close, but my a is negative. So I'm going to multiply everything by negative 1. I have 3x minus y equals 9. I haven't changed the value or the relationship of my equation. I just changed the way it looks. We are going to rewrite each of these equations in standard form. We already did this one. The first thing I'm going to do is subtract 2y from both sides. And I'm going to have negative 2 thirds x minus 2y equals negative 1. I can't have a fraction. The easiest way to clear a fraction is to multiply everything by the denominator. There's 3, I'm going to multiply by 3. So when I distribute this, don't forget that part, you end up with negative 2x minus y equals negative 3. Again, I have a negative term in the front. Multiply everything by negative 1. End up with 2x plus 6y equals 3. And that is standard 4. The only thing that's out of place is that 4. It has to go over there. So I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides. And I have 8x minus 6y equals negative 4. My a value is positive. So I'm done. And just to kind of reiterate, in this case, a would be 8, b is negative 6, and c is negative 4. And you could do that for all of these. X-intercepts and y-intercepts are a way to graph if it's not in sync. X-intercept is where it crosses y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis. Now, that gives us the information we need. If you think about every single ordered pair on the x-axis has the ordered pair look at what they have in common. They all are some number 0, some number 0, some number 0. So when we go to solve for the x-intercept, let y equals 0 and we solve for x. And that gives us that value. If we think in common sense as far as what the y-intercept, think about every point here, we have 0, 6, negative 2, 6, and what's true here is that every x-coordinate is 0, and the y is something else. So when I go to find the y-intercept, I'm going to let x equals 0 and solve for y. That will give me 2 points to graph, and I can have my line. So, x-intercept. Equation plus 0 as substituted, minus 4 equals 0. 2x minus 4 equals 0. Add 4. 2x equals 4. X equals negative 2. That means at negative 2, 0, this crosses the x-axis. And then I'm going to repeat the same thing, except this time, replacing x equals 0. So we have 2, negative 2 times 0 plus y minus 4 equals 0. Negative 2 times 0 is 0, so I have y minus 4 equals 0. Add 4, and y equals 4. So now I have the ordered pair 0, 4 to graph. So that means my line through there. So I was able to graph without having to manipulate my equation to the slope-intercept